All right, well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Shelley Gregory with Forge. My pronouns are they, them, or any pronoun. And we're gathering tonight to talk about planning your vote in Wisconsin for the November 2020 election. Some other places we can get help preparing for the election. We talked about myvote.wisconsin.gov, and we talked about the election protection website. Those are great places to go for information. HRC, the Human Rights Campaign in Wisconsin, also has lots of resources and lots of tools on its website to help voters prepare for voting. And so I definitely recommend checking out their website. And again, the National Center for Transgender Equality has a really robust voting rights page. So those are all really great sources of information as you're planning your vote. On election day, as we've referenced a few times, if you have any challenges on election day and you need support while you are at the polls trying to cast your vote, couple different things you can do, couple different places that I recommend looking for assistance. So number one, this is, again, the chief inspector of the polling site. That person is responsible for the site. They have extra additional training on top of the training that the poll workers have. They have all of the information about all of the laws and the regulations and procedures for voting. And that chief inspector really should be your first stop if you feel comfortable asking to speak with them. They have the ability to instruct folks to register you or to let you vote. And they can instruct the poll workers to do that. So I would definitely try to take advantage of the chief inspector if possible. The other folks you will see at the polling site, and if you've been to polling sites in the past, I'm sure you've seen them. The two major parties, Democratic and Republican, will have election observers at the polls. Lots of other organizations will have election observers as well. Election protection may have people there. The League of Women Voters often has election observers at the polls. What these folks do is they come in, they ask permission of the chief inspector to be at the site to observe both registration and to observe the poll workers who are checking people in and checking voter ID. They've got to stay a few feet back from those desks, but they are there to observe that process and essentially make sure that the poll workers are doing what they need to be doing. I've served as an election observer many times. My sense is that most observers take that role really seriously. When I am doing it, I am watching very carefully, and I'm watching particularly for people who get turned away from registration or from being able to get a ballot. If you are denied a ballot, if you're not able to register, take a look around your polling site. I think you will see election observers. They need to be wearing some kind of tag or some kind of badge that identifies them as election observers. And if you see those folks, you should feel free to approach them and let them know that you're having trouble, that you're not able to register, that you've been told you can't have a ballot, or if you've been told you have to cast a provisional ballot and you think that's wrong. Definitely look for those folks. So these are people just like you and me. They're community members who just want to make sure that elections are fair and open to everyone. And they have got training, again, about Wisconsin laws and regulations on voting, and they can help you, and they can help you speak with the chief inspector as well. The one thing you need to realize about these folks is that they are not allowed to approach voters. inside the polling place. So, you know, even if you see that they're observing you, and you may even see that they are observing you have a problem, they cannot come to your aid unsolicited. All they can do is observe, but you are more than free to approach them and let them know that you're having trouble and that you need some assistance. And if they can't help you, they'll get you in touch with election protection or somebody who can. They may follow you out of the polling station. They can speak to you outside the polling station. They can initiate that contact, but they can't do it inside the polling station. So just be aware that they are there. They're good resources, but you are going to have to initiate contact with them, okay? Couple other sources, again, for help day of in voting. One, again, is election protection with that awesome phone number, easy to remember, 866-OUR-VOTE. Anybody across the whole country can call that number. You will get lawyers, and you will get lawyers who know the law and who can help you. So if you are told you can't cast a vote or you have to cast a provisional ballot, you think that's wrong, you don't want to leave the polling place, you want to cast your ballot, call election protection. They can give you advice. They can intervene if necessary. They may intervene with the chief inspector if they need to. Same deal with the Wisconsin Democrats, WisDems. They've got a voter assistance hotline that'll be staffed, and they can give you advice and they can help you if you're encountering any problems while you're at the polls. Last thing we just want to mention, a few more opportunities. If you yourself are interested in volunteering, doing get out the vote efforts, if you're interested in serving as a poll worker or an election observer, there's a number of organizations that can facilitate that for you. And these are just a few of them. So again, Human Rights Campaign in Wisconsin, go to their website. Election protection, you can volunteer with election protection. Like I'm volunteering with election protection this year to answer calls from people who are having trouble in polls. I'm not able, for COVID reasons, to be present safely at a polling site, and so I'm going to do that over the phone this year. WisDems, again, has the same deal, voter protection. You can volunteer with them. League of Women Voters has been doing election protection, election observation work for many, many years. They're a well-oiled machine. They provide training. They're great. They're another great organization to volunteer with if you want to get involved on election day. So that is all that I have. As always, well, first, if folks have any questions or comments, please feel free to pop them in the chat or raise your hand or let us know if there's something you'd like to say, and we can unmute you. In the meantime, as always, folks can contact me, contact Forge for help with any of these issues. My phone number, 414-559-2123, extension 4, and my email is Shelley, SHELLEY, @forge-forward.org. So feel free to reach out if you need any help beforehand, planning your vote, if you run into trouble requesting an absentee ballot. If you have any troubles, just give us a call and we'll get you the help that you need, or we'll get you to somebody who can help you. So I am going to stop my screen sharing at this time. Doesn't look like we have any questions. Oh, we do have a question. We've got one question in the chat here. So how can we best help our friends if they're concerned about voting, if they have concerns around their trans identity, documents matching, or being discriminated against? Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, there's a few different things that we can do. One, I think, that's real easy to do is to share some of the information we've talked about tonight. There are a lot of tools online that can help us to prepare with some of these issues. And sometimes, knowing what our rights are is really the first step to making sure, that we're treated fairly and equitably. Some other things we can do for folks: give people rides to the polls, go to the polls with our friends if we can do that safely. If we can't go inside the polling place for health reasons or other reasons, even just accompanying folks to the door and being there with them. If we're able, offer to accompany our friends to the polls. You can stand in the line with them. You can stand in line with somebody while they're checking in and signing the poll book and handing over their photo ID. And I think it's a great idea to take a voting buddy with you if you have any concerns about your photo ID. It's always great to have an extra set of eyes and ears. And it's also great to have somebody there to back you up if you need some help in advocating for yourself. So I think those are two really big things we can do: is share information with folks, try to help folks get registered, and to vote absentee if possible. And if not, to try to accompany folks and give them some help on site at the polls, or tell them that we're available by text or by phone if they have trouble, and that we'll get them in touch with somebody to help them if they need help voting at the polls on the day of. So that's everything that I have, and unless we have any more questions, I think we'll probably wrap up this session. So thanks everyone for being here. Thank you for your questions. As we close out tonight, I just want to remind folks we've got more online programming coming up in the next several weeks. On Tuesday, the 13th, which is next week Tuesday, we'll be celebrating Coming Out Day, which is happening on Sunday this weekend. And so we will have a panel discussion. We'll have an opportunity for folks to share their coming out stories. And if you're interested in doing that, let us know. I think Michael can probably, there we go. There's our call for speakers in the chat there. Let us know if you're interested in sharing your coming out story on Tuesday, and we'll get in touch with you about that. Coming up then Thursday of next week is Spirit Week. So this is anti-bullying campaign in schools. And we'll be having a coloring and chatting session to mark Spirit Day. And those have been really fun in the past, sort of open rap sessions with some fun coloring and artwork doing along with it. So I hope we'll see you next week. There, as always, is an evaluation that'll pop up in your web browser after tonight's session. And we really appreciate your feedback and take it into consideration. And we'd really like to ask you to fill out the evaluation if you can spare a few moments to do that. So thanks everyone, and look forward to seeing you next time, and let us know if you need help planning your vote. Thanks of course to our interpreters Jill and Derek as well.